I hope all of you physically healthy, mentally happy. Make sure studying Dharma, practicing Dharma is only about bringing inner happiness. The more you study Dharma, the more you must have the inner happiness. In order to have the inner happiness, in order to be truly happy person, we need to control our negative thoughts. We always pointing to other says, oh, this person is very short tempered. Oh, this person is very angry person. Oh, this person has a very strong ego. The person has a very strong jealousy. So we always pointing our finger towards other. If you always pointing your finger towards other, you never ever going to be changed. Therefore, when you see someone is very angry person, at the same time you must point your finger towards yourself. I should not be angry person. Anger is very bad. When you see someone is very jealousy person, you can see the person is not nice person. Therefore, also again, you should point your finger towards you. I should not be jealousy person. When you see someone, always be proud, have a strong pride about their families, their positions, their name, their wealth, their body. At the same time, also you should not only point, oh, this person is have a strong pride. Also you should think you should not have the strong pride. Pride and confidence is totally different different minds. Therefore, the more you study Dharma, the more you generate inner happiness, the more you reduce, control your negative thoughts, particularly anger, hatred, jealousy, and attachment. If you're not able to control your negative thoughts, if you are not able to reduce all the negative thoughts, particularly anger, hatred, attachment, then we cannot be happy person. We cannot be able to live truly happy life. Therefore, studying Dharma, practicing Dharma is only about bringing inner happiness, generating inner happiness, reducing negative thoughts. When you start to reduce your own negative thoughts, then other people will take you as an example. This person, particularly in this class, many of you were a beginner of studying and practicing Buddhism. since you attend this class, your friends, your family, your neighbors, your co-workers, they notice, oh, somehow he or she has changed. He or she is changing in the positive way. That means you no need to tell your friend, oh, studying Dharma is good. You need to show the benefit of studying and practice of Dharma. And all of you, almost 99% of you who attend this beginning Dharma class, all of you are lay person. The lay person life, family life, looks very complicated, lot of complexity there. Due to the complexity, you cannot able to be happy. You are not able to build the healthy friendship, healthy relationship, and healthy life. Therefore, when you have emotional problems, family problems, relationship problems, friendship problems, everything have been becoming very unhealthy, we should not pick on only one condition. There must be different conditions, different layers of causes and condition. Therefore, you need to analyze why I am not happy, why not my families are not happy, why I always have a friendship problems. Someone became friend with you for a few days, few weeks, few months, and then the person, walk away, go away. Why it happened to me? Always, I always try to be very nice person, nice with everybody. Somehow, any of them never try to be friend with me. What's happened? Therefore, please try to reduce the negative thoughts. Whatever problems come in your life, you need to analyze very subtly, precisely. Also, you can see the one layers of the causal condition to bring suffering. Don't just only think, oh, this is the main cause. There must be another layer. So you have to study, step by step. Need to know the main cause to have a lot of sufferings and problems. Most of you, include me, most of our physically, we are very healthy. We have a healthy body. Our body is very healthy because we know which food and drinks good for our body, which food and drinks are bad for our health. Therefore, we try to stop the bad food, bad drink, because it harmful our body. We always try to drink the healthy food and drink. We know is good for our healthy body, is good for our health. Therefore, we have the healthy body. Or sometimes we notice suddenly we have a headache, suddenly stomach problem, backache. Also, we never ignore them. Immediately, we try to take medicine, we try to change the food, we try to do exercise, yoga, and gyms. So immediately we try to stop the headache and the stomach ache, the back ache, what kind of problem we have. Likewise, same way when we have our emotional problems, we must know what are the good for our positive minds. What are the bad for our positive minds? The thing which is affect, bring a lot of suffering our healthy mind, we must stop. The things, the causes condition, bring a lot of positive energy for our positive minds. We always try to practice the thing which is bring a lot of positive thoughts. And also, sometimes certainly we get angry. Also, we should not just ignore, we should not just accept to be angry. We need to clear the anger immediately. Otherwise, the anger we keep today, keep tomorrow, keep for a few months, few years, finally, the anger going to explode. There will be big explosion. Then the anger explode very strongly. First, you become victim of the anger. Then the people who lives around you, they also became victim of anger. Also attachment, jealousy, everything is same. So every time when you think about practicing Dharma, studying Dharma, you must think how I should reduce my anger, attachment, ego, jealousy, pride. How I must generate, cultivate my positive mind like kindness, compassion, tolerance, contentment, non-attachment. That means if you do this way for next, like a few months continuously, definitely you can feel I am much happier. I'm very easy to content with food, clothes, position, whatever you have. Contentment doesn't mean you need to stop to earn more money. It doesn't mean you need to stop to have a bigger house. It doesn't mean you need to stop to have a better cars. You must put effort with a sense of contentment. If you don't have a contentment about your wealth, about your name, about your belongings, about your friends and life partner, then you become very extreme about your position, about your name, about your belongings, about your family, about yourself. Once you become extreme, then you're not going to understand what is the right, what is the wrong, which one I must do, which one I should not do. You will become totally blind person. Therefore, contentment is very important. So how we should control the negative thoughts, how we should generate the positive thoughts is very simple. I'm not saying, you need to visualize all the deities, do all kinds of mudara, all kinds of recitation, all kinds of offerings, a lot of, nonsense thing, because many people have been doing when they do Dharma practice. Very simple. First, you need to recognize, you need to identify, yes, we have our minds. I have a minds. Some minds bring a lot of happiness, contentment. There are other minds bring a lot of sufferings, giving a lot of uneasiness. You need to recognize I have a two kinds of minds, positive and negative minds. Once you recognize, very simple, when the negative thoughts arise, you need to stop, let them arise. You need to stop, don't let them arise continuously. And when the positive thoughts arise, you must let them arise continuously. Or sometimes you need to put a lot of effort to arise the negative thoughts. We don't need to put any effort to arise negative thoughts. All the negative thoughts arise within our mind in a kind of effortlessly. You see your enemy, anger arise. When you see beautiful object, beautiful, attractive person, attachment arise. No need to put effort. It arise innately, naturally. Why? Because most of our lifetime, even though in this lifetime, we always support towards our negative thoughts. We don't give enough support towards our positive thoughts. Therefore, we need to put effort to generate positive thoughts. We need to put effort to cultivate, strengthen the positive thoughts through meditation, not through recitation and chanting. Meditation is very important. Therefore, usually how we should start our meditation. But first, how you sit, the sitting posture is not that important. The most important is you must sit very comfortably on the bed, on the chair, on the cushion. Doesn't matter where you sit, how you sit comfortably. Make sure you should not feel very uncomfortable after a few minutes. Then your upper body keep rise steadily, not bend forward, should not bend backward, very steady. That means the blood circulation circles smoothly. The wind in your body, run smoothly. If you bend, then the blood circulation also, don't flow smoothly. Backward also, there's a problem. So therefore, the most important, your upper body keep rest up steadily, like an arrow, very steadily. Then your eyes, the eyes ball must be very relaxed. The eyes muscle must be very relaxed. You should not look very, a straight way. Relax. Be, relax your eyes muscle, and your neck have to be very relaxed. No agitation. Then your eyes, both eyes, look down, not too down, just in a right way to look down. When you look down, suddenly you can feel your eyes muscle become bit, agitated. Also, you need to relax your eyes muscles. Then breath, you need to check your breath, like how it is look like. Then you can block your nose, or without blocking the nose, just focus your breath. Okay, let's everybody start, focusing on your breath in and out. Now, please you visualize image of the Buddha Shakyamuni, which is we use for many times. Please visualize the Buddha Shakyamuni image. First, you try to remember the full picture, the complete picture of the Buddha. First, you start looking at the Unisha. It's a golden color, and the hair is like a dark blue colors. In the center, you can see the treasure of the hair. Then slowly you need to see the two eyes, nose, hair, then neck. Now, the whole upper body. The two legs is a full posture position. On the right hand, the right hand touched to the ground. In the left hand, there's a begging bowl. Now, the Buddha, which is we use for our object of meditation, it is not just picture, it is not just painting. You just need to imagine this is a real Buddha, the actual Buddha Shakyamuni. So how he became fully enlightened being, how he became a Buddha, because he practiced bodhicitta with the wisdom with the bodhicitta. He practiced bodhicitta based on great love and compassion. Therefore, today, I wish to be Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Therefore, I want to practice bodhicitta. In order to practice bodhicitta, I need to practice compassion. Compassion can be practiced when you have a pure love, not just love which is with the attachment. Pure love means wish all sentient beings be happy, wish to be happy, have a cause of happiness. Purely love. When you have a pure love towards all sentient beings, all human beings, particularly the human being, the person, the people who live around you, then you won't have a anger, hatred, jealousy, pride. Because the person got in a higher position, you are very much appreciated. The person become very successful person, you feel very happy, you feel very appreciation because you have a pure love towards this person. Once you have pure love, then you can have a compassion. What is the opposite of the compassion? The opposite of the compassion is anger, hatred. Therefore, all the negative thoughts arise from first link, which is ignorance. Therefore, you can imagine you are just, sitting in front of the Buddha Shakyamuni. Imagine the Buddha is giving teaching to you the Four Noble Truths. This is the truth of suffering. You must identify, you must recognize. That means the Buddha is pointing to you, particularly towards your body, saying this physical body is the truth of suffering. You must always recognize. And this physical body, the dukkha, not, come being to exist without causing condition. It has a cause, which is the origin of suffering, namely ignorance, attachment, anger, pride, desire, all of them cause to have this physical body. Due to the ignorance, due to the emotion, we engage into action, the negative and the positive actions. Particularly the positive action here refer to the contaminated positive actions caused by ignorance, afflict emotions. We have a karma. The dukkha, the truth of suffering, the origin of sufferings can be eliminated, can be ceased, can be stopped. You just imagine when you're totally free from anger, attachment, hatred, ignorance, how much happy you are. That's what Buddha said. This is the cessation you must achieve. Then you are wondering how I can achieve cessation. Then Buddha said, this is a path. This is the path to lead to cessation. Which path? Then the Eightfold Paths. Eightfold the noble paths. You need to practice the path, mean you need to control the negative thought through practice of Shila, practice of Samadhi, practice of Prajnana. Three things. Therefore, if you could, we must practice Shila, mean always try to be ethical person. But not easy to be very ethical person, in this time, particularly in the 21st century, is not easy. Almost all the people around you, except few people, rest of the people always looking to how I can take advantage from you. They're always looking you how I can take advantage, how I can use these people, how I can use these people wealth and name and position, include body, but not easy to be very ethical person. Somehow, more or less, you have to practice morality. When you practice when you practice Shila, vows, then you almost surprise the anger, attachment, pride, ego. Then you need to do meditation, samadhi. When you do meditation, you need to keep your mind in one one position. Generally, within short period of time, we have so many different thoughts. Different thoughts arise very fast. We don't recognize. But somehow we can feel it. How come today, actually I have a good breakfast. My breakfast was very nice, but I feel very unhappy because within short time, a lot of negative thoughts arise. All the negative thoughts give you a lot of, impact. Therefore, you feel very unhappy. Therefore, when you do meditation, you need an object to meditate. Therefore, if you are a very angry person, you need to meditate on compassion. You need to apply patience. You need to practice kindness, tolerance. You need to visualize the person whom you were angry and generate pure love and compassion. But many people said, not easy. Yes, we know it is not easy. But we have to practice love. We need to cultivate love and compassion towards the particular person whom you really, really don't like. If you don't cultivate love and compassion towards the particular person, you always feel very angry. You feel very unhappy. Right? Therefore, first, everybody visualize, remember the person whom you really don't like, whoever. It can be your friends, it can be your family, it can be your co-workers, it can be your neighbors, it can be your teacher. Visualize the person, can be your parents, can be your father, can be your mother. Also, sometimes we are very, very stupid. For example, somebody father passed away 10 years ago, 20 years ago. He is no more here. Still, you are very angry with your late father, your late mother, your late brother and sister. When you remember, them, you get very angry. We are very stupid. The person already passed away, no more around you. Then still, you yourself giving a lot of torture, emotional torture. Right? Therefore, please visualize the person whom you don't like and cultivate pure love. when you start it to generate love, please keep generate the love continuously. But in between, there can be a lot of obstacle to disturb you to generate love. The disturbance can be the external condition, can be the inner condition. If the disturbance, the disturb come from externally, outerly, very easy to control, very easy to manage the external disturbance. But the disturbance, the obstacle come from innerly, within your mind, is not easy. Still, you have to control. Otherwise, you cannot meditate on love and compassion continuously, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Right? Then, once your mind becomes very calm, then for you, very easy to practice wisdom. Here, do you remember many of you study, Lamrim for many years? You have like a light in your, like candle light. You have a candle light in your hand. So you want to use the candle light to see the painting on the wall. Yes, you use the candle light to see the painting very clearly. But there's a lot of wind around the candle light. The wind moves the fire, the light. Therefore, you cannot see the painting very clearly, precisely. Therefore, when you meditate on something, let's say meditate on Buddha Shakyamuni, then second, you want to know the truth, reality of the Buddha. So when you try to realize the truth nature of the Buddha body, you have so many different thoughts come. The different thoughts disturb you to see the reality, which is selflessness and emptiness. Right? Therefore, first Shila, then Samadhi mean, the focused mind, very focusful mind. Then the focusful mind can be used to realize the emptiness, the truth nature of the Buddha, the truth nature of all phenomena. Once you realize the truth, the reality of the all phenomena, since you totally stop, you're going to stop to arising anger, attachment, desire, because you realize that the reality. Therefore, the Eightfold Paths include into three, mind training. Mind training of Shila, the mind training of Samadhi, the mind training of wisdom. Therefore, somebody asks, what is the Dharma? Avalokiteshvara answer, the Eightfold Path, the Eightfold Path of the Noble or Arya. Right? So today I try to explain you the Four Noble Truths with the truly interdependence. Then the practice try to link with the Eightfold Paths. The Eightfold Paths you include into three mind trainings. So as a beginner, please, you should not think practicing Dharma is very difficult. Meditation is very difficult. Realizing emptiness, it is impossible. You should not think. At the beginning, you should not be discouraged. You need a lot of, encourage. You need a lot of aspiration. In order to have aspiration, you don't need to, read a lot of Dharma books. Sometimes little thing inspire you to be good person, try to be ethical person, try to do meditation, right? Therefore, you need strong aspiration for practicing 3 mind trainings. So 3 mind training again is a foundation, also very important practice. 12 links. Now, please everybody, meditate, do meditation from ignorance to all the way to the aging and death. Not just count the number. You must meditate on the 12 links with a kind of feeling, ignorance, cause, suffering. Ignorance causes samsara. Ignorance is the root of the cyclic existence, ignorance. Then, due to the ignorance, I have an attachment, I have an anger, I have a jealousy. How the ignorance cause to have anger? Very simple. Very simple. When we get angry with someone, the reason was very simple. We have a very simple reason. We say, oh, I'm very angry with you because you criticize me. Or you say, bad thing about me. This is the reason. This one, we never checked. Actually, we are very ignorant about ourselves. So we have been doing a lot of bad things. Somebody say, hey, you did this, we get angry. If somebody tell you the truth, instead of getting angry, we must appreciate. We must say, oh, thank you so much. Let me know I have been doing bad thing. Or I really appreciate to you. I thank you because you tell me what I have been doing. What I have been doing, mistaking things. Again, we are very stupid. The ordinary person tell you that your problems, your faults, your mistakes. We get angry. Actually, all the Buddhas always criticize our actions. Always telling, oh, you are doing wrong. You are a very unethical person. You are an angry person. You are a jealous person. You are lying. These are no good. Right? Buddha have been saying for us many, many years. Why we not getting angry to Buddha? Therefore, according to the Mahayan practice, Mahayan teaching, particularly according to the Kadamba master advice, the people who tell you your problems, your falsity, those are your teacher, your best teacher. Therefore, there's no reason to be angry. Without getting angry, still you can respond. Right? Ignorance. Then attachment. How we attach to the belongings. How we attach to someone. How we attach to our family. What the reason? So here we must, distinguish purely love with the attachment. So we must love our parents. We must love for everybody, but we should not attach. There's no reason to be attached. Attachment. Once you have an attachment things, then even though the thing is very simple thing, It looks like a simple trash. For you, the simple trash look like very valuable object. It's very valuable things because you have a so strong attachment. So strong attachment. Or the person is very ordinary person. He or she is not, really beautiful, not really attractive, but still, due to your ignorance, you attach the person. Again, attachment arises from ignorance. All the negative thoughts arise from ignorance. Then we engage into action. Those actions, they push us to rebirth in samsara continuously. So when you think about how long we will be in samsara, 10 years, 100 years, million years, billion years, trillion years, there's no such as limit time. So we have to be in samsara forever if we don't cut ignorance, if we don't stop to accumulating the negative thoughts, negative karmas and positive karmas. Then we have the physical body due to the karma. Then this physical body is actually the source of arising all kinds of sufferings and problems. Within one day, within for 24 hours, how much we need to take care of this body? When we wake up, we need to fill water, coffee, juice, tea, because the body is very thirsty. Then we need to take a shower, then brush. Then we need to wear clothes. When we go out, we need car, bus, MRT, everything based on this body. Attachment because this body. Desire, we need so many things because this body. So we need to stop to have this kind of body. I'm not saying we need to stop to have a body. We cannot stop. This kind of body, which is the truth of suffering, the basis of suffering, the pervasive suffering. But how we should stop this body, aging and death, stop ignorance, then stop karma, then attachment, anger, desire going to stop. Then there's no any other condition to activate the karma. Then we no need to take another rebirth. Then we free from samsara, we free from suffering, because there's no such as the origin of sufferings, because we already cut the ignorance. There's no such as basis of suffering, because we stop to have this kind of physical body. Also, we are very ignorant about our physical body. We consider ourselves, oh, my body is very healthy. My body is very clean. Actually, we are totally mistaken. Also, when we look at somebody, physical body, we thought, wow, this body, this person is so nice. This is so beautiful, attractive. When you look closely, analyze very closely, then we will know the truth nature of the body. You can just imagine what's the difference between the dead body and before the person die. For example, you really like someone very much. Next minute, the person died. The physical body is still there. The eyes, the nose, the tongue, everything is there. Why don't you like this physical body, the dead body? When we see the dead body, we scared. We feel vomiting. Why? The body which is belong to the living person, the body which is already on the cemetery, on the bed, it's same body. Difference is the dead body cannot move. Again, we have a ignorance about the physical body. Right? Therefore, meditation means you should not just be, try to be very quiet. The physically you look very calm, look very relaxed. Mentally you have to be very busy. You need to do a lot of analysis. Then finally, you will know the selflessness and emptiness. Then you start to cut the root of the samsara. So today, our lesson, how we should compound the Four Noble Truths, the 12 link-dependent origination with the Eightfold Paths. And particularly, we must know we have a lot of ignorance. Right? The next class, next topic, we need to discuss about what does mean ignorance. Ignorance, right? Therefore, page number English page number, I think, ignorance case confirmation. Page number 101. Here, what is the ignorance? That which is perceives the same 6 elements to be unitary, whole, permanent. What is the ignorance? That which perceives these six elements to be unitary, whole, permanent. Exactly. When we think about I, me, we always think I is as a very unitary. Mean is very singleness. And whole mean oneness, just only one. Then permanent. How we, feel, we believe I is a just unity, just oneness, singleness, permanent. How? Very simple. What we usually say, this is my head. My head. That means me and my head is separate. This is my hands. Again, me and my hand is separate. I am separate from my head, separate from my hands, separate from my body, right? This we say my body. Then we say my mind. Also, we tend to believe, also we innately, believe me is totally separate from mine. Because we say my mind, me and mine is separate. Therefore, we have an ignorance. We are totally ignorant about I. We consider I as a unitary. Whole means singleness, totally single, without depending on anything. And again, how we, innately believe I am totally single, mean not depend on anything. Because we say my body, my mind, my life, where you are. How you can be exist without depending your body, without depending your minds. You and your mind is one or two. You and your body are one or two. Right? When you analyze, then you will find I am not totally separate from my body. I am not totally separate from my mind. Because sometimes we say, oh, I am very fat. I am very skinny. I am very slim. What are you talking about? You're talking about your body. Sometimes we consider me and my body is just one. And also sometimes we have a confusion between me and my minds. They say, oh, I am very intelligent. Because you have an intelligent mind. Your minds know so many things. Therefore, we say, I know so many things. Therefore, again, we have a misunderstanding about me and my minds. Therefore, first, unitary, wholes means singleness and permanent. Also, we think, we believe I am permanent. He is permanent. She is permanent. We're not saying you are permanent, but innately we believe. For example, you met someone last year. Somehow, today you meet the person. You meet today, this morning. Then you feel, oh, the person which I'm seeing, this person I met last year. Actually, the person who are in front of you, whom you're talking right now, this person never existed last year. The person who met last year, the person already has, changed. It passed. The person who you meet is a person, moment, person. Again, we have a mistaking about I. Therefore, we have a ignorance about I. Innately believe that I is a unitary, whole means singleness, and permanent. In the reality is opposite. I cannot be unitary, I cannot be singleness, I cannot be permanent. Ignorance. Right? That means same way the 6 elements. Also we have ignorance about 6 elements. We need to, get out from the ignorance. We need to be free from ignorance. Then we can be free from all problems, sufferings. So ignorance, karma, then, physical body and aging and death. Also, we have another difficult, very difficult to accept one, whom you really like, whether you are parents, whether you are relatives, your friends, your life partner, your husband and wife. You really like someone. Certainly the person right. So this kind of situation, not easy to accept. If you're not able to accept, you will have a lot of emotional problems, emotional sufferings. Therefore, at the beginning, whatever we have, whoever friend with us, you always remember, those are not permanent. Those are impermanent. I am impermanent. My belongings are impermanent. My wife, husband, children, friend, relative, they are impermanent. Definitely, one day there must be separation. The separation must become today, this evening, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, next week, next month, next year. Definitely the separation will come. If we need to prepare in advance. Why we do a lot of insurance, car insurance, health insurance, property insurance, life insurance? Why? We know if I have an accident, I have insurance. Same way, we must have to be preparation. We need to do preparation. Someone will pass away. You must know in advance. Separation is another, difficult to accept. Particularly, one of your dearest, your nearest one pass away. For few months, few years, you remain in the emotional problems. Therefore, Buddha said, impermanence. Therefore, unity, whole, permanence. This is based on our concept. Reality is opposite. There's not such a unity. There's many parts. There's no singleness, depend on many parts. There's no such a permanent. All the conditioned phenomena are impermanence. Right? So today we can stop our class here. So for you as a homework, please read, I think, 3 pages, detailed explanation about each of the 12 links. Then next, I think Sunday, we will start class from the lamp of the path to enlightenment. Because we have a, quite good knowledge about Four Noble Truths. Now, good knowledge about the 12 link interdependence, particularly the order of the 12 links. Also, we have been talking about, the mind and emotional ignorance and so. Next, so we will start our class from lamp of the path. Before we start, we will discuss a little bit about the each of the 12 links. Then we start our class from lamp of the path for a few days. Then the lamp of the path and the meditation stage is go together. Then within few months, you will have a kind of complete knowledge about the Buddha teaching. You have a good knowledge about how to practice Dharma. Then particularly, you will have a good knowledge how to practice the Mahayana teaching. Then you will have a good knowledge how to do the meditation. So thank you so much for attending the class. So we can have a Q&A session. If there's a question, so please feel free to ask question.
Yes, Christine, you may pose your question.
Yes, Geshe-la, can Geshe-la kindly elaborate on contaminated positive actions? Thank you.
Thank you so much for asking this question. Many people think the positive karma always bring, ultimate happiness. This is our understanding. It's not correct. It look like, so used in the Buddha teaching, you have a snake white snake, black snake, right? You have a two snake, black and white. Color-wise, you really like the black snake. It look very cute, very nice, beautiful. The black snake is very ugly. Doesn't matter which snake bite you, the white snake, black snake, it releases you poison in your body. You will get sickness. Same way, right now we have this physical body. We have a human life. We have a, kind of the samsaric happiness. the samsaric happiness. And the human life, the human physical body actually caused by the positive karma, which is contaminated. Mean that negative, the karma we have cumulative ignorance, attachment, and desire. Therefore, do you really feel very much happy to have this human life? Yes, we must appreciate have a human life. It's very important. But usually it has a lot of sufferings and problem. And until now, whatever positive karma we have been accumulating, doesn't matter how much time you spend for accumulating positive karma, how much energy, time you spend for accumulating positive karma, all those positive karma only bring you the samsaric happiness. It never bring you the happiness which is beyond the samsara. So today you accumulate a positive karma. The positive karma itself cannot be really actually caused to achieve Buddhahood. Therefore, the positive karma, which is accumulated from based on ignorance, attachment, attachment, desire, the partial kind of compassion is always the contaminated. The second is uncontaminated, the pure karma, positive karma, caused by bodhicitta, caused by pure love and compassion, caused by wisdom. Then those karma is uncontaminated because the motivation motivated by great love, compassion, bodhicitta, and also those positive karma actually cause to achieve liberation. Buddhahood particularly can be caused to achieve the dharma, embodiment of the Buddha embodiment. So until now, most of us, except few people, otherwise most of us have been accumulating positive karma, which is bring the result only the samsaric happiness. It never bring the beyond the samsaric happiness. Therefore, contaminated, uncontaminated. Whether positive karma, so negative karma, the positive karma, which is mainly accumulated through the negative thoughts. For example, somebody chant to decrease other wealth. You jealous somebody has a good wealth, you do recitation, you do chanting. The action look like good, but you're accumulating the negative karma because the motivation is purely negative thoughts. Also, with the positive like faith into Buddha and Dharma, with the partial compassion, love, accumulating karma also is contaminated. It cannot go beyond the samsara. And also there's three karma, right? So you in the Lamrim we're going to study one karma, the positive karma only bring the happiness in the desire realms. There's some positive karma bring the happiness in the form, the formless. All the karma we call contaminated positive karmas. Thank you. Is there any question? Oh yeah. Yes. I think everybody has a kind of almost same routine, whether you are lay person or monks. Everybody have almost same routine. Sleep, morning, wake up, take a shower, have a breakfast, and go for your walk, and come back home and do things. Even the monks wake up early morning, do your recitation, chanting, meditation. This we cannot change. It cannot be changed. If you always meditate on impermanence, impermanence. Mean everything is changing momentarily. Yesterday I woke up, today I woke up, but yesterday the person whom woke up, the person who right now is waking up, for me it look like same, in the reality is totally different. So you need to have a better understanding about impermanence, a subtle impermanence, everything changing momentarily. Number one, it's so important to meditate on impermanence. Number two, if you really want to go beyond the daily routine, then you need to focus more about the meditation or practicing Dharma. For example, you practice compassion, great compassion to all sentient beings. So you never do this practice in the past. Then you feel, oh, now I'm different person than the past. So please, you next few days you meditate on impermanence, changing momentarily, and generate pure love and compassion to all sentient beings. Also, you should not feel love is very boring. If you just remain in the same routine, wake up early morning, have a breakfast and take a shower, breakfast, go for a walk, 6-7 hours, come back home, take a shower, eat dinner, watch TV, sleeping, toilet. If you just remain in this same routine, then you feel life is very boring. Therefore, you have to be more active. When you have free time, go for exercise, meet people, look around, try to understand things more closely, then you feel life is not really boring, very interesting. So far I have only this answer for you. Thank you. Any question?
Yeah, we have lots of questions. Geshe-la, Sandy would like to ask, he's still stuck with of object and subject. If we see everything as subject, can we really realize emptiness?
You cannot, okay. Everything cannot be subject. Like this book so far, this be a book, it always object. It cannot be subject. If you're talking about subjective and objective, if you realize everything we establish based on our own mind, based on our own idea, then you will realize your mind close to emptiness. For example, there's let's say two men. I'm here using two men. Also, you can use two girls, two ladies. Two ladies are looking at the same man. The two men looking at the same lady. One man has a very very beautiful concept about the lady. One person, very beautiful concept. Other man, he doesn't have any sense of the beauty concept about the lady. Both they're looking at the lady. How come these two has a totally different concept? Same way, two ladies looking at one man. One lady has a very high concept, high quality concept of the man. Other, they don't have any particular concept. The same person, how come? That means the conception, you have the concept about the person is your own idea. You label the person is very nice, the person is very attractive, the person is ugly, the person is beautiful. It's your own concept. Based on your level, the labeling come based on your mind. The person is said neither ugly nor beautiful. If you have a more understanding about how things establish subjectively, not objectively, then your mind going to closer to the emptiness. Not everything cannot be subject. Subject can be person, can be consciousness, can be the sound which is express the meaning we call subject. Why did you ask this question? Hello, you can unmute. Why did you ask this question?
Hello, Geshe-la, Sandy here.
Mhm.
Yep. I'm now very much exploring between the non-self and emptiness. And I try to meditate on the emptiness. And I saw somewhere in the subject, there is the object. And in the object, there is a subject.
What does mean in the object there's a subject?
Okay, for example, now I'm on the car. And I can see another car in front of me. But the car is object, right?
Yeah.
But the car itself is actually subject as well.
How?
Because the car is also somehow make it in a way that becomes car. But if we think, yeah.
The car is established by minds.
Mhm.
Car is not subject.
I see.
Don't you think so? For you, what does mean subject?
To me, the subject is something that is, I constructed the idea of this shape is a car.
Oh, no. This means I think established by subjective mind or objective mind. You can say establish by mind.
Mm.
Not the car cannot be subject, always be object.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, understand.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Geshe-la.
Next question, please.
Geshe-la, Jane would like to know how to cultivate love first, then compassion to people in our mind that we do not like.
Yeah. Therefore, if you have a love, purely love, then you have a kind heart. Then you have a compassion. It's very simple. When your closer one, you are suffering. Let's say your best friend has a suffering. Then you wish your friend free from suffering. You always, giving a lot of support to your friends because you love your friends. You have a love to your friends. Love. Without love, you cannot have a kind heart. You cannot have a compassion. Therefore, love and compassion. We Buddhists say, Nyingje, Chamba and Nyingje. First is love. Chamba, you must have a sense of love everybody. Without loving mind, you cannot really have a compassion. Therefore, usually when you see, someone is totally in sufferings, totally in miserable life, we don't care. We totally ignore. Even though your neighbors, your friends will be ignored. Someone has a little sufferings, we very much care the person because you have a love. You love the person. Therefore, love, then compassion, then kind heart. How we should have a love, towards everybody. First, if I ask you a question, do you love your parents? Hello, you need to answer me. Do you love your parents?
Yes,
Why?
because they brought me up.
Brought me up. Do you love all the farmers from Malaysia, the Malaysian farmers, as your mother, your father?
Farmers as my mothers. Yes, I do.
Right? Do you love all human beings
Yes, I do.
right? Therefore, we need to generate love based on logics and reasoning.
Mhm.
Right now, I'm survived because of the food.
Yes.
The food come from all over the world, particularly the most of the food come from the poor family. So you need to connect your mind with all human beings. Also, you need to connect your mind with all animals like cow, sheep, dog, donkey, horse. For example, the farming who farm, like a rice, they need a soil. Many soil come from cows, donkey, cats, like dogs. So when you have this kind of concept, then naturally you love everybody. Once you love, you care everybody. When you care everybody, then you have a pure compassion. Yeah, in order to generate love, you need to generate the love with the reasoning and logics. Love towards your friend, your relative is kind of, is innate. Since we are young, we connect each other very strongly. So therefore, we love each other. The people who live far away from us, like people live in Africa, like India, many parts of India, we don't have a close contact each other. Therefore, we don't love. Right now we need to connect our mind with everybody. We must have a close, mental connection with everybody. Then naturally, we can have a love towards everybody. Thank you. Next question, please. We can have one more question, then we can stop here. Yeah, okay.
The question is from Willie. So it's about third thing in the 3 trainings. Could you please explain and give examples?
Practicing Shila is look like having the good land, healthy soil. Then practicing meditation, it look like growing the plant. Then practicing wisdom is look like having our fruits. Fruits, the tree or the plant, then the soil, the ground. Among the three, first we need the healthy soil, healthy land. Many of us practicing Dharma, no progress because we don't have a good moral, no good soil. Many of you have a good, moral. You always try to be ethical person, but you don't have a samadhi, no plant, no tree. Many of you have a soil, you have a plant, no fruits, because you don't have a wisdom, right? First, I give the analogy, soil, plant, and the actual fruits. Based on one negative thoughts, you get angry. When we get angry, we have a thought to harm the person. If you could always think, I will hit, I will kill. The thoughts come for killing. If you have vows, then you always stop killing. That means the morality, the moral, the ethic stop you to kill, actual killing. But still you have a thought to kill someone, but you cannot kill because you promise, you have a vows, not killing. Still you have a thought, all the anger arise. All the anger you can control, you can reduce through the meditation. applying, antidotes according to the negative thoughts. Then you can reduce, you can minimize, look like you don't have anger at all, look like anger is in the deep down because the ignorance, right? Practicing morality, practice samadhi, first control, second reduce. Practicing wisdom, eliminate the root of the anger, attachment, desire. Therefore, practicing 3 mind training is very important, even though according to one negative emotions. So I cannot give you, a lot of explanation, but we don't have a time. This is like that. Okay, one more question, then we can stop.
Okay, sorry. Question from Wee Eng. Positive thoughts, speech, and action without self-centered attitude, but still with self-grasping ignorance, without wisdom of emptiness, is still considered as contaminated positive karma, which only brings samsaric happiness. Is this understanding correct?
If you act based on totally reducing the self-centered attitude, if you don't have a self-centered attitude, means you are very purely become compassionate person. You already generate bodhicitta, self-centered attitudes. Yes, if you engage in action based on totally reducing self-centered attitude, that the action considered as uncontaminated, even though you haven't reduced the self-grasping. After you engage into action, reducing self-centered attitudes, controlling the self-grasping, then action again also uncontaminated actions. So uncontaminated action is depend on what kind of action you engage, based on reducing your self-centered attitudes, reducing self-grasping, reducing anger, pure love and compassion. It depends on the action. Yes. So thank you so much asking all these questions. So we don't have enough time to answer. So we can, have a more Q&A for next Sunday. So thank you so much for your attending class. Even though today is Sunday, mostly for you is a resting time. Still you woke a bit earlier, have a breakfast. Maybe some of you didn't have a breakfast. So even though you sacrifice your sleeping, sacrifice your breakfast, attend the Dharma talk. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. At the end, so dedication, right? We accumulated the merits. When we do dedication, do in a pure mind, then the dedication become uncontaminated dedication. That means free from the worldly concerns. Free from concern about yourself. Means I dedicate to benefit all sentient beings for becoming Buddha. Dedicate merit or benefit all sentient beings, particularly your families, your friends and relatives. Last, dedicate merit for world peace. Peace for all parts of the world.